Hello everybody and welcome back. Once again, you're with Ashley from Enlighten Education Trust. Today we are going to be embarking on our fifth mandala. It is going to be, again, a little bit different from the previous ones. For those who are watching for the first time, if you could go back and look at materials, mixing techniques, how to make your own brushes, that'll be very useful. Today we are going to have a big limitation, and limitations are amazing things because when we have limits, we have to stretch ourselves to explore within the limits. Today we are going to be looking at monochromatic colors. In other words, we're going to be making a mandala with one color, only one color, and we are going to pull and stretch those colors in different directions to create a whole myriad of ranges of tones and shades of the same color. To start with, I'd like to have a look at the color wheel. And we are going to be looking at colors that have different shades and tones and that vary from warm to cool colors. So if you look at this side of the color wheel, we're looking at the cooler colors. And this side, we've got the warmer colors. And you could choose any of the primary colors or the primary and secondary colors as your main color. So for example, if you choose red, you're going to create light reds and you're going to create more intense reds. So keeping in mind that we are using food coloring, we don't have paints, we're going to keep it quite simple. So obviously, if you put more water, you're going to have a lighter red. And then if you put less water or go towards the actual straight food coloring, you're going to get a darker, more intense red. But then we're going to push it to the other side as well. So if we're looking at the primary colors, if you add yellow to red, you're going to get a secondary being an orange. If you add less yellow, you're going to just get a kind of an orange red. If you add more yellow, you're going to go into orange. So we don't actually, because we're keeping it into one color, that is our challenge, so to speak. I want you to really challenge yourself to think, well, when has it turned into orange? When is it a red orange? And when is it an orange red? So in other words, you've got to stay in the orange red zone. And once again, if you add blue to red, you're going to get a purple. But when is it going to start to become a purple red? And when is it going to start to become a red purple? And of course, you've got to stay in the purpley red category and the orangey red category. So it needs to still be red if that's the color you're choosing. You may choose yellow, you may choose orange, you may choose blue. So you're going to be working with related colors. Actually related colors, in fact, the same color, but of course the different shades and tones relate to each other. So I would like you to feel into a color that really inspires you today or is really calling you today. And we are going to be using, or I'm going to suggest that we use sea creatures as our inspiration. So we've looked at flowers, we've looked at organic patterns and shapes, we've looked at butterflies and insects, and so this is something completely different. And once again, we are looking at a mandala, this time that is semi-balanced. So in other words, I'm going to suggest that you keep the center of the mandala in the middle of the circle. And in this particular one, you can create a spiral. This has amazing colors in it. It's actually got greens and pinks and blues. So the challenge here is to actually choose one of the colors that you see in the shell. And that's the one that you're going to push and pull to create a monochromatic mandala. This is a sea anemone a picture of a sea anemone that particularly inspires me today. And I think I'm going to work with this as my inspiration. I'm not going to copy it. I'm just going to use it as something to start with, an idea to start with. And just looking at monochromatic colors in different forms if you don't have something from the sea. Here is, I imagine this is a chameleon's tail, and I've taken an orange from my fruit bowl. Once again, you could decide to go to the garden for your inspiration. I want you to imagine that there are hundreds of different kinds of greens and blues and yellows. So while you're choosing your color, you could start to think about the names and the words that go with a color. Forest green, moss green, acid green, grass green, khaki green. There are so many different kinds of greens. And so you're going to mix as many different tones and shades of the same color as you can. What you're going to need today is something to mix your colors in. So an ice tray will work. If you've got something from the art shop like this will also work. You're going to need your pre-mixed food colorings, your intense bottles of food colorings, your water to mix your colors and your brushes, your surface. I'm using paper, you could use card, a circle to draw around, and a pencil to draw around that circle. Let's think. You may want to use Jik or bleach again, which is an option. And then if you could also make sure you've got a stick, it could be a stick from the garden to draw with. And I think that's about it. So if you'd like to gather your materials, please do that, and we will meet back here again in a moment.